Hey, what's up, fam? We're right back at you on a Saturday night. It is November 22nd, 2025, and we got college game day going on here. It is week 13, and guess what? There's a lot of teams that's going to be dropping, and there's some going to be rising, but we hope most drop so Miami could rise because we're all three online pulling from the University of Miami, which had a big win today, by the way. I'm Derek Stewart, your host, along with my kinfolk Isaah on a Saturday night, and we have a special guest tonight, fam. We got a special guest, Eddie, and he's joining us tonight to bring us his experience and his background in football and covering Miami, because he's a big Miami Canes fan, just like we are, and we always love all the Canes fans joining us. So we're glad you joined us today. We want you guys to actually give us some input and actually, give us some feedback on YouTube. And I'm going to try my best to answer all of the feedback and the requests while I'm here talking and moderating this show today. We hope everybody's in good spirits. We hope everybody feels good and ready to do this show. Make sure you hit that like button on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. We have TikTok. We're on Instagram, and we're just lighting it up everywhere. So we're growing. We're going to be talking about a lot of topics today. Once I give these introductions out, we'll go into some of the topics that we'll be talking about. So sit back, relax, join us on this information superhighway for sports in the United States of America. So let me go ahead and unpack everything and introduce my kinfolk, Isaah.
Hey guys, man, this is a beautiful week 13 of college football, man, and just to see how these teams are maneuvering and ones who's not up to par dropping off and falling by the wayside, and they just got to start getting ready and prepare for next week. My week has been full with love, joy, and happiness, and I hope everybody else is having a good time. The weather has been extraordinary. It was beautiful today. I hung out with my handsome dad and my brother today, and we got a lot of things done. And then now we're here to cover this sports show, and we're going to be watching some things with the NFL tomorrow. And then Monday, we coming right back at you to cover everything that went down on the weekend. So, yes, we got a special guest, Eddie, and Eddie going to uncover all the sweet stuff of sports this Saturday night. Yes.
Yeah, it's always good to have Eddie come on with us. And this is not going to be the last time that Eddie come on with us. Eddie's going to be a regular guest for us moving into the playoff season for college football and the NFL, because it's very important that we have expertise from Eddie, because Eddie knows football, just like we know football, but it's always to have that extra, angle of opinion that injects in there for everything. We got a massive week 13, and we'll be talking about that, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce Eddie to our kinfolk and to everybody who is viewing us right now. Thank you for joining us, Eddie. Tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about your background with experience with the University of Miami, how long you've been following them, and so on.
I want to thank you guys for the invitation and having me today. Isaah, thank you very much. We've been talking about this for a very long time, and finally we made it happen, right?
Absolutely.
And, hey, I'm going to be very simple and straight to the point. I'm just a kid from Miami who grew up in the 80s and just fell in love with this program, and ever since then, as cliche as it sounds, but you cut me up and it bleeds orange and green.
Absolutely.
And season ticket holder since the Orange Bowl, currently still season ticket holder, Hurricane Club member, and we always travel with the team. We get some insights, some stuff. We're not going to name names or anything like that, but we'll give you some little information. And that's who we are, and go Canes.
Absolutely, go Canes. I mean, I grew up in Miami as well, and Isaah grew up in Miami as well. So you got a full Miami crew right here, right now for the University of Miami. Even when Lou Saban was coaching that team, on into Howard Snellenberger, and then Jimmy Johnson and then Dennis Erickson. And, you had coach after coach after coach come in and just take this program to the next highest level. And this program has so much legacy behind it. I'm going to go ahead and predict that they're going to be into this playoff this year. I'm going to go ahead and make a bold prediction. They're going to make it into this playoff rotation. And when they make it in, they just need to run the table when they get in there. I mean, and show the world that, look, those 2 losses don't mean nothing. We got there. We're going to run the table through, the CFP playoff. And I'm pulling for Miami to win it all. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would not think that they might win it all, but I think they will. I think they have a good opportunity to do it. One is because the coaching and the athletes that's on that team. And we'll get a little bit into that, but I want to go ahead and welcome Freebird Tony, my guy. Freebird Tony was on here over a week ago talking about his top 10 Heisman running backs of all time. We really enjoyed that show because that show it brought out the best in all of us. Isaah was a running back in high school. Isaah was a running back in college. And I think you played running back at Hialeah as well, Isaah, right? When you played for Hialeah Optimus, you played running back.
Yep.
Yeah. And you were one of the few guys that used to have to run before the games because you weighed more than the weight. So you had to put on like a raincoat. You and Murph and all of them, Keith Maps, all them guys had to run before the game because they had to shed off them pounds. So when we weighed in, they made the weight. Now, I didn't have to worry about that because I only weighed about $115 back then anyway. So I was playing for the 120-pound club for Hialeah Optimus at Benny Babcock Park. And Benny Babcock Park is still there.
That's changed now, man.
Did it change?
You know that, right?
No, I did not know that.
The park hadn't changed, but the system has changed. They go by age, not weight now, man. Some of them damn 11-year-olds weigh 200 pounds, man.
Yes.
Some of them 11-year-olds weigh 200 pounds. They big old fat guys who got guts and tires tied around their stomach, man. And Eddie, at that time we were playing 130, and I weighed like 136. So we would have to put on a garbage bag. We would cut the arms out, cut the top over there where you could stick your head in there, and we would do laps around the track and get exhausted and hot. And then we'll go sit in the coach car for a couple hours. You done burned off those 6 pounds, man. And then you go in the weigh-in. And once you hit the 130, you can play that day. And if you hit that 130, you couldn't play. And every week after that, it goes up a couple pounds so you can afford to be the 136 at the end, like a midpoint of the season, you can still play. But that was something else, man. It actually taught me how to lose weight. If I needed to really lose and shed some pounds fast, it showed me that. Because at that time, all you had to do was do a couple wind sprints and run up and down that field real hard and put that bag on and sit in the hot car with the heater on. And, man, you'd be sweating like a racehorse. And of course, you'll shed 6 pounds a day if you really wanted to. It's all water weight.
You could.
Yeah,
that bag really puts it on you. I mean, once you open up that bag at the bottom, water just spill out from the sweat.
Just all over the place. And DC, that's without putting the pants on, because they have pants that goes to a suit now. But we just did the torso part with just a big 55-gallon bag with the arms and the head cut out, and then you just put on some tight clothes where it stay fit, where air won't get in there, and you would sweat like crazy, man. Within a couple hours, you don't drop those 6 pounds.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Kids today won't do that. It's just they're too pampered today.
Mm-mm.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, too pampered today. Yeah.
They get everything handed off to them.
Yep.
It looks like Freebird Tony has joined us, and everybody welcomes Freebird Tony. He said he played for 145 pounds in 1977 for the Tamiami Colts.
Oh, wow. I remember them.
You remember the Tamiami Colts? Yes.
Yeah.
Out on the Tamiami Trail, right? I mean, it's out in that general vicinity, correct?
Well, that's what FIU is, DC.
Oh, really? Okay.
Tamiami was FIU's field.
Tamiami Park, yes.
Right.
Yeah, Tamiami Park. Yeah.
Yeah, Tony said he played defensive end as well.
Mm-hmm.
So That is freaking awesome, Tony, man. We're so happy that you can relate with all three of us because we're all Miami guys. We're all 305 guys. I have a different area code now, but everybody else is still 305. I think Tony has a different area code as well because he lives out here in Southern California with me. But we're constantly going to be back in Miami starting, as soon as next spring. We're going to be there to cover the Miami spring game. We're going to be doing a lot of interviews at that game. We're going to cover some home games for Miami next year. So let's get into these topics. Let's talk a little bit about Lane Kiffin and his whole purpose behind, or his whole reasoning behind why he's entertaining these offers from these schools. I think all three of us have a good idea of that, and we will talk about that today because it's a little bit weird the way he's handling it. I think, and I'll tell you what I really feel about how he's handling this and whether it makes sense or not, because money makes sense. So money talks, all the BS walks. So we'll get into that. We're going to get into James Franklin being hired at Virginia Tech. I think it was a good hire, and now I got a bigger picture. The picture unfolded when they released his pay package, and it made all the sense in the world to us. Because me and Isaah was scratching our heads and we were saying, how in the hell he going to walk away with almost a $50 million contract owed to him and go somewhere and take less money? But it didn't play out like that, and we'll give you the formula and let you know how it worked out, and it worked out perfect for James Franklin. We're going to talk about the recap of that Miami game today against Virginia Tech, one of the biggest stars for Virginia Tech, and Franklin's going to have an ace in the hole, Kyron Drones. Kyron Drones is the quarterback for Virginia Tech. I don't know whether Drones is a senior or not. I'm going to look that up to see whether he'll be coming back next year. But he's Cam Ward's second cousin, by the way, just to give you a little bit of inside information on that. Cam Ward was on the team last year. They played Virginia Tech. Him and Kyron Drones is second cousins. We're going to be talking a little bit about some of the coaches that might be good fits for some of these programs that's out there right now, because we got quite a few job openings. Florida State could potentially open up as well. We don't know that yet. I think Isaah's got inside intel up in the panhandle. He might know something we don't know, so we'll cover that as well. And then we're going to switch over to the NFL. We're going to cover some of the teams. I know Eddie's team is San Francisco. We're going to talk a little bit about the 49ers and their season this year. And we're going to talk about the potential of some playoff teams that can make it, because Buffalo don't look good right now. Buffalo don't look like the Buffalo of the last few years. So we'll talk about that as well. So let's get into this thing and let's get this party started. And let's start with Lane Kiffin entertaining LSU, and he's entertaining Florida while Ole Miss is still playing. So maybe that might make sense to Lane Kiffin, but it doesn't make sense to Ole Miss and their faithful and their following. It doesn't. Lane accepted a job at Tennessee, by the way, and most people don't remember this, but he did accept the job at Tennessee, and he coached at Tennessee, I believe, one game, and then he bolted. He bolted to USC. So there's no, as far as honor, and there's no him being, attached to Mississippi in that sense, because money talks and the highest bidder is going to get what they want, generally speaking, with most coaches. And we're going to get Isaah and we're going to get Eddie's take on this. So Lane Kiffin became the hottest name in college football because a lot of these coaches got fired and it just didn't seem reasonable. And the coaches tree and the coaching ranks is very, very small now for the great coaches, for the good coaches, for the coaches that can come in and really make an instant difference inside of a program. And he's one of the few that can do that. However, I'm not completely sold that if he were to even take this job at LSU, whether he could turn this program within 1 year. So, Isaah, I'm going to start with you first and give me your take on whether this makes sense for Lane Kiffin to be flying around to these different schools when Mississippi is still trying to get to where they need to be in this playoff system.
Man, Lane Kiffin, to me, I mean, it's the ultimate disrespect. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You got two more games at least left on your season, and you parading around on a plane going to these schools that has openings there. No matter what they're offering you, DC, I mean, you still have a current job, and that job is paying you. You got a contract with them, and you just going around like as if you a guy who's sitting home and without a job. I mean, I just don't understand how he can do something like that. You got a staff which probably really don't care that much because chances are he'll bring his staff with him if he take off. But you got kids that make commitments to you. You got kids that looks up to you as a father figure, and these kids ain't ready to just take off. You got kids who went to Mississippi just because they got some type of attachment with them. I mean, their parents probably went there, or their brother might have went there, and here you are, you go there and thinking you got a really good, stable coach, and then somebody start dingling a couple more millions of dollars up under his nose, sniffing a couple more millions of dollars, and you take off. I just think it's highly disrespectful for him to do that. Now, if the season was over and he did that, that's one thing. But in the middle of the season where you getting ready to go in the playoffs and you just playing around like as if you don't even have a job, I think it's the ultimate disrespect, man. I think Mississippi need to just say, if you feel like that, goodbye, man. I mean, especially if they can't offer him that money because he's getting paid healthy right now. But the figures that I seen that LSU is willing to pay him, he might be the top paying coach in college football because I don't know who's making 13 or 14 million dollars. But from what I seen this morning, there's a $13 million bag sitting there for Lane Kiffin. I don't understand, but how he would just be driving around going to one university to the next, though. That's the part that I got a problem with.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have a question for Eddie. Eddie, where is the state of Louisiana getting this money from? And they refuse to even pay Brian Kelly what they owe him. Why would any coach consider LSU? Because they won't even pay Brian Kelly what they owe him, and they're trying to bring in Lane for $90 million or $98 million plus to put him probably at the highest paid. It doesn't make sense to me. Help me understand that, because I know there is no loyalty amongst any of them.
That's called NIL. That's the new format of college football. NIL. You know, money just comes in. It's unbelievable. Lane Kiffin, what he has is that cool factor. He'll bring in the kids that Kelly couldn't bring in. You know, Kelly is more of a businessman. He doesn't really fit the LSU style. He is more like where he came from Notre Dame. So a program that's nice and quiet, Kelly fits to it.
Correct.
Kiffin is just, I mean, the kids that he'll attract, like what he did in SC, he can do it all over again in LSU. What's surprising is that Ole Miss has a lot of money in NIL. So I think he's probably just trying to negotiate to stay in Ole Miss, you know?
I thought Ole Miss just signed him, though. I thought they just signed him to a new contract, right?
Yeah.
They extended him. Yeah. So they have
maybe you may want more.
Programs. They have one of the top programs of NIL money, which is going to attract a lot of good kids, you know, good 5-star recruits. And I don't think LSU, I think LSU is making a mistake going after him. A guy like with his track record, when he was at SC, you saw the trouble that brought to the program and how that ended. So,
for sure.
I don't know what LSU thinking. Yeah, I think he fits more in staying in Ole Miss. And again, I think we know that they have a lot of money in NIL, and that's just the best fit for him. I don't see him going to LSU. I'll be surprised if he goes to LSU.
So, Eddie, help me understand NIL, because I know a little bit about NIL. So, NIL, how do they raise the money to pay a coach the type of money they're talking about giving Lane Kiffin? Because at the end of the day, they signed Brian Kelly. And like I say, I'm going to keep repeating this over and over again. They are not honoring their end of the bargain for the contract that they offered to Kelly, and they don't want to carry it out. He's suing them right now to get what he's due. He said that part of his lawsuit said that they ruined his reputation because technically there was some glitch that he technically was not formally fired, if that's what I understand, in writing, but he was fired in the court of public opinion, and in the media, literally the AD got rid of him. I mean, and why won't they pay this man his money, but they running around talking about paying Lane Kiffin all this money? I think it'd be better for LSU to go on and rehire Ed Orgeron. They get him on the cheap. They could bring Coach O back on the cheap. They don't have to pay Coach O that kind of money. Right?
Man, they can get Orgeron $1 million and he'll go back over.
Yes.
There. Exactly. They can give him $1 million. He's just so eager to get back on somebody's staff, man. He's just walking around on
He said that he would coach as an assistant under Lane Kiffin on the staff if that were to happen. That's what I read the other day from Ed Orgeron.
Oh, he might have a job then if that's the case, because most of the time, once a guy be a head coach, he's not taking no position coach or a coordinator. And when they used to being a head man, they usually don't take a job like that. That goes to show you how eager he is to get back on somebody's sideline.
Exactly.
Coach O he's been very close to the University of Miami this year. He's on campus a lot.
Yeah, he has.
He's around. Yeah, there's rumors that they're thinking of bringing him on board for next year. I don't know what good that's going to make, but yeah, like Isaiah said, literally this man walks around Miami Beach without a shirt. It's comical. It's comical.
Yeah.
I'm going to reserve from making other comments, but it's comical. It's comical to see him just walking around without a shirt.
Yeah, like I said before, you had all of these people get involved in Brian Kelly saga, where there was politicians involved in that. They were talking about administrators up at the top, and they were trying to figure out, okay, how do we not pay this man what we owe him? We owe him $54+ million or whatever the end result is. And they were trying to figure out, well, we fired him for cause. How do you fire someone for cause when you've already fired him for not winning on the field? You can't have it both ways. You're just not going to have it both ways. I don't see it both ways.
That's the dark side of NIL as well. They're bringing in these top-notch coaches, and with the promise of bringing in all these talent, and it doesn't always pan out. It puts the program in a very bad situation. I mean, look, here in Miami, if Cristobal doesn't start winning, we're going to be on the same boat. We're going to be on the same boat because he has a big buyout, right? And it's not a secret. He was backed by the Mass family. They were part of negotiating the buyout in Oregon, bringing him into Miami. And if he doesn't start winning within next year or even this year, the seat is hot. So we may be in the same position in a couple of years.
That's a good point. And, I would hate to see that happen because I respect Mario Cristobal a lot. And I thought he did a great job turning Oregon because, he was coming into Los Angeles and grabbing kids out of California and Los Angeles, talented kids. And he was bringing them up to Oregon. And that's why he had good teams in Oregon. But what Dan Lanning has done as Oregon is took it to the next level since Cristobal has left. I mean, he's taken Oregon into the heights, into the stratosphere. And we'll talk a little bit about that SC game today because I don't think Lincoln Riley is going to survive, to be honest with you. He can't win the big game. That's why they got rid of James Franklin at Penn State, right? If you can't win big games, and Lincoln Riley is one of the better coaches, by the way. I don't have anything, any slight to throw his way. I just think that their defense came up short again today. I mean, just like they've been coming up short for many years at SC, and they just can't seem to put it together and have it, on both sides of the ball where they're balanced enough to be effective to win and run the table in the Big Ten. Wouldn't you say so?
Well, DC, it's just like anything else. No matter how high-powered you are as a coach, if you get into these schools and you're not winning, and they really want you to do it right away. They don't want to give you no 3 or 4 years and claiming that you're going to wait till you get your own players in there. This time is of the essence. They want to win right away. The NIL give you an opportunity to grab these kids who want to transfer and jump ship from one school to the other. You need to be out there trying to solicit these guys to bring them in there because your job is going to be on the line. I mean, Lincoln Riley got in there and he hadn't done really nothing. They fattened him up. They gave him a big house.
They fattened him up big time.
Money, beautiful cars and everything. And he hadn't done anything to fulfill this stuff, man. So he's going to be the one who they cutting the eyes at to get rid of soon, man. Tell him.
Yeah, his contract was massive for them to bring him from Oklahoma to here, and he's been so far. I mean, he's an offensive talent. I mean, he can make it happen on offense. It's just the same thing as haunting him at Oklahoma at SC. The defense just hadn't been able to play well enough to get them to that next level. And, I have all the respect in the world for Anthony Lynn's son. He's the defensive coordinator for SC, and he was a defensive coordinator over at UCLA before USC was able to pluck him away. And, we'll see how that plays out. One thing is for sure that Lane likes to leverage, he likes a lot of leverage when it comes to negotiations with these schools. I can tell you that just from my experience of watching him and how he's operated. More than likely, he's probably going to end up at one of these schools. I thought he would be a better fit for Florida, but we'll find out what happened and see how that plays out.
Everything is quiet about that Florida job.
If he gets hired in Florida, he'll be in so much trouble in Florida.
You think so?
Yeah.
I do. He's got to win right away. Otherwise,
so you're saying you guys are saying that it will be more pressure in Florida than it would be at LSU, correct?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, because have you just thought about the turnover in Florida's coaches in the last 5 or 10 years?
Since Urban Meyer left there, technically.
Yes. Yeah. And nobody really got them on track, man. They just sometimes go 500 and they're not winning consistently over there. So they're looking to get a high-powered coach in there and they'll throw money at them. And then they'll fire them. They don't care. They want to get some wins under their belt and some consistent winning.
Yeah.
Florida always struggles. Florida always struggles when FSU and Miami are doing well in recruiting. They just can't pull the talent. They just can't pull the talent. And for the past 15, Florida State dominated for 5 years, 6 years.
Correct.
And then Florida disappeared. They just can't. If Miami and Florida State are where they're supposed to be, forget it. They just can't draw the big recruits. They just can't. Look, this week we just flipped the tight end. Who was out of Chicago? Jared Payton helped us get the number one tight end in the nation. We flipped him. He's coming to Miami.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome.
The kid is 6'5", 250 pounds. I hope he doesn't go into a left tackle. He's massive.
I hope Jared go down to Chaminade Madonna and grab that running back from there and flip him to come to the U. That's what I was trying to do a couple of weeks ago to meet his parents. This running back from Chaminade Madonna up in Fort Lauderdale, Eddie, he's amazing, man. But he's signed a letter of intent to go to Texas. Yeah.
Oh, is that the kid that's going to Texas? Okay. Alabama also took someone.
I was trying to meet his parents to get him. I went to the game a couple of weeks ago to meet his parents and say, no way, don't let him go over there. Bring his behind right. Let him stay right where he's supposed to be, here at home. Right down the street.
So some of the decision making can be very questionable how they even pursue some of these coaches. Whether it's Lane Kiffin or whether it's Brian Kelly, the way they pursue these coaches is just amazing. And we'll talk a little bit about the reception James Franklin received at Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech is a great program. I mean, they've had a lot of good athletes, Michael Vick being the most notable one to come out of there. In ages, he's the kind of the face of the Virginia Tech program from that time up until now. And they've been through some down periods as well up in Blacksburg, and they're trying to get it back on point. So let's move on to this next topic and talk a little bit about James Franklin. James Franklin got fired at Penn State. I didn't think he should have got fired, but he got fired. The AD thought he should have got fired, so I don't make them big decisions like that. James Franklin did not win the big games, the games that they needed to win to keep him there. I mean, technically, because there was rumblings and people talking under their breath for years that he couldn't beat Michigan, he couldn't beat Ohio State, he couldn't beat these other big schools, and then they came up short against Notre Dame when they played them. And Penn State has always had good athletes. He's one of the best recruiters in the country. I thought it was a little bit premature for Franklin to, once he got fired, to not collect that money and just sit for a year. But he expressed on College Game Day 3 weeks ago that he really wanted to get right back into coaching and continue his quest to win a national championship. So I'm going to start with Eddie on this one. Do you think that signing from Virginia Tech to sign James Franklin to the contract that they signed him to, and we'll talk a little bit about that shortly, you think it was a good fit and a match made in heaven for both sides?
I don't know about a match made in heaven, but it is a good fit, and I think it's a good signing. He, like you mentioned, he brings in top talent. I mean, if you look at the NFL, the top running back, arguably, it was his, and Barkley.
Absolutely.
The defensive end that got traded to Green Bay.
You're talking about Micah Parsons. Yeah, Micah Parsons.
Parsons, correct. Those are two monsters right there, you know. And like you mentioned, Virginia Tech it was a good, steady program. And for some reason, they fell off in the last 5-6 years. And a man with his pedigree, you know, he could be the positive side. I compare him to Brian Kelly, leaving Notre Dame, going to LSU. And I think in this case, we're going to see something more positive to come out of it. You know, Virginia Tech, good fit for him. Doesn't have the pressure of the alumni like Penn State. So I think it's a good fit. It's a good signing for both of them.
So, Isaiah, did you see that reception of him getting off the plane, coming down the stairs to the tarmac, and the reception that he got at that aircraft hangar? I mean, it was just like it was a royal type of reception. Wouldn't you say so?
Absolutely, it was. I seen him when he first got greeted on the tarmac with his family and the student body of the president and the athletic director who met him and greeted him out there. But I've never seen anything like that. Even when Miss Nick Saban went over to Alabama, I've never seen a reception like that. I mean, it was amazing. And also, when he came and spoke to the kids out in the gym or some type of hall where they were, or auditorium, it was amazing. I mean, how he spoke about the school and how proud he was to get there and stuff like that. But I've never seen a reception like that under no circumstances. And I mean, I hope it continues, because sometimes they give you that beautiful reception and then, of course, they turn their back if you don't start winning right away. But I don't think they'll do that to him. I think they're going to support him every step of the way, because for them to take on that huge, massive amount of money that he was due, I mean, they really got to really want him. I mean, he was almost asking for $45 to $50 million in back pay for that contract, and they absorbed the majority of it and brought him right in. So he claimed that he didn't want to sit around and just wait on that money to come in, because it was going to be, dispersed throughout 2031.
Correct.
So now he get right back into coaching. Man, how beautiful that is for somebody to pick up that contract. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't think nobody would do that, but they did it for him. So more power to him. Good luck to him.
So it looks like
Isaiah,
Virginia Tech. Go ahead, Eddie.
Like Isaiah mentioned earlier, he will get he'll get the years that it needs to build a program and establish a culture. by that greeting, like you guys mentioned, that he got today, and the money that's been thrown at him, hey, they're going to give him his 5 years, 6 years, and he'll make it happen.
I think he will too. I'm confident he will.
Yeah, with NIL, all you need is that one or two piece with a couple of recruiting classes, and we're the example of that. University of Miami last year with Cam Ward, came in and elevated us to. Hey, we almost made a push.
That's true.
We almost made a push, and this year, here we go. This year, here we go. It's the same thing with Virginia Tech. You get a high-profile coach like that. He's hot. You don't cool off. If he stays on the sideline, he cools off, and you can't. You have to stay in the fire.
Yeah.
So it looks like they signed him to a 5-year, $41.75 million contract over 5 years. Technically, the terms of the contract was released. It runs through 2030, and it looks like it's largely backloaded. Most of the money is on the back end of his contract. He's on Virginia Tech on the hook for $6 million in 2026 and up to $13.25 million in 2030. Now, Penn State owed him around $49 million, so technically Virginia Tech took that contract right off of Penn State's books, their sheet, and Penn State only had to pay out $9 million of the money, which Penn State kind of got off easy on that as well, because Virginia Tech took up all of that slack. Does that make sense for Virginia Tech to take that slack up like that?
Of course it does, to get a coach like that. But see, Penn State got some wiggle room now to go out and grab who they need by Virginia Tech grabbing that big bag like that, man. So now they can go out there and get them a high-profile coach as well and pay them dearly, because they're not hooked on the books for James Franklin. So they're going to be good now. Yeah.
Kalen DeBoer's name surfaced for Penn State. I was reading that yesterday as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and ask Eddie, if that is in fact true, do you think Kalen DeBoer should bolt Alabama and go up to Penn State? Does it make sense?
I don't think it makes sense.
It's dumb.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, he has no footprint in the Northeast with recruiting, so he'll struggle. No, I don't think so. I don't see it. Penn State needs a big.
That guy is sabotaging his career if he did that, Eddie and DC.
Yeah, correct.
He's really sabotaging his career if he do that. He will get fired in no time flat, because he's that Southern type of guy. And that's exactly where he needs to stay. And I think right now, to see him in the beginning of the year lose a game and turn it 360 degrees and start winning out. He just lost last week or so, but he won everything else afterwards. So for them to be nagging at him like he's going to go to somewhere else, he will have to be a nutcase to take that job, because Nick Saban is the one that blessed his hire, man. Mm-hmm. And you're going to leave, he'll be making a huge mistake if he did that. Yeah.
No, Penn State's going to go after a big name. I don't think it just doesn't make sense. They need a big name right now.
So let's do a quick plug and play. I mean, just out of a few teams, where do you think these coaches could fit per the teams that are actually open with a head coaching opening? Let's just say Florida, for example, and let's just say Penn State. Lane Kiffin is between Florida and LSU. But what other coaches you think could even be considered for, let's just say, a Penn State or a Florida? Did you know of that's winning right now and it can make a change? It can turn it around.
You always have to look at Georgia. Their DC. That's a good fit for Florida.
The defensive coordinator for Georgia?
Correct. And that's an option right there. And for Penn State, I don't know. Penn State, it's. I have to get back to you on that one, because it's really. I don't know. I don't know which. And like I said, it makes sense.
They mentioned Manny Diaz for that job too, Eddie, in DC.
They did. Manny Diaz name did surface
Yeah.
for that job,
Yeah.
correct? And he was the defensive coordinator at Penn State, so he's very
That's the
familiar
reason why they
with the program.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the reason why they did it. His name surfaced over there because he got some attachments to him because he was the defensive coordinator.
And you know the good thing
you know
about
what?
Manny that I like is Manny can recruit, and Manny, if he were to be offered that job and he accepts that job, I think he would do the NIL that Penn State has. It would only enhance his ability to be able to get the right kind of athletes in to Penn State versus Duke. I mean, Duke is a very good school. It's somewhat like an Ivy League school as far as I'm concerned, and it's kind of hard to get athletes to come in there. I mean, if you know what I mean by that, from the sense that maybe Duke wouldn't even have anything close to what Penn State has in NIL. That's what I'm thinking, you know.
I think Penn State goes into the NFL and brings someone in.
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
Well, they
That's
mentioned Matt Rule's name, too, from Nebraska. And like I said before, and I've said on this show before, Matt Rule is he's not, to me, he doesn't impress me at all. Nebraska got beat today, by the way. Penn State, I think, manhandled Nebraska at Penn State, you know, and I'm not impressed at all. I think he's a fraud, to be honest with you, and I'll keep saying that until the end of time. Now, he just signed a new contract with Nebraska, so Nebraska's happy with him, you know.
I'll tell you a name that's not being surfaced or not being mentioned much. The Arizona Cardinals ex-head coach, Klinsmann. Klinsmann, is that his last name?
Arizona Cardinals, he was the ex-head coach?
Correct, NFL. He came from Texas Tech. That would be a good fit for Penn State.
I'm gonna pull him up right now as we speak. Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah.
Correct. Kingsbury. Yeah.
I think he's the offensive coordinator right now for the Washington Commanders, I want to say. I believe he is. I think Cliff Kingsbury is currently with the Washington Commanders, if I'm not mistaken. But he was the head coach at the Arizona Cardinals, is for sure, you know.
Yeah. That's a guy that I'll keep an eye out for.
Yeah, actually, Eddie, that's an excellent point you just made. I didn't even think about Cliff Kingsbury. He would be a good fit for some of these schools, I know for sure.
It's a big splash. He had success in college. That would be a very, very good hire for Penn State. And he's an offensive mind. And that's what sells now.
That's true. That's what most schools are looking for, is all offensive-minded coaches, right? They're looking for those type of coaches right now, more so than defensive-minded coaches. So, yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye.
They was needing that to get some points on the board because they wasn't scoring.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Penn State wasn't scoring a lot of points.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So let's move on to this next topic, and let's talk a little bit about the recap and the takeaways from that game today against Virginia Tech in Blacksburg by the University of Miami. I thought they looked well on both sides of the ball, especially in the trenches. I'm going to start with Eddie and tell us a little bit about what your takeaways were from that game.
Well, the end of it, I thought it was FSU all over again, Isaiah. It got interesting, but the first half was domination. I like the play calling, and they opened up a little bit of the playbook. And this kid, Malachi Tony, man, wow.
He's
How
amazing,
about
man.
putting him at quarterback next year? How about that?
Man, he's absolutely amazing. You know,
did you see that?
He's just so electrifying, man.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, that kid.
Yeah. He's just got enormous talent. He does everything well. I mean, he runs, he's quick, he can throw the ball.
His IQ is extremely high for a freshman. IQ. He's got really extremely high IQ for a freshman wide receiver. And he's, like you say, he's got the talent that he could play quarterback if was needed, right?
They might change the playbook if he wind up going over there, man, because he runs so well too, man. So they'll change him as an option quarterback if he wind up being a quarterback.
Like DC mentioned, it's unbelievable the composure he has at the age that he for being such a young player. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what he does.
It really is. It really is. And you know what really I was impressed with today was Shannon Dawson's play calling. He mixed it up. He called the right type of plays, in my opinion, from some of the highlights that I witnessed, because I didn't see the whole game, but I did see a lot of the highlights of what they did. And they kept Carson Beck clean in that pocket too. They kept that pocket clean. So as long as they keep that pocket clean for him, he doesn't panic. He doesn't go into panic mode and start making irrational decisions.
They got to continue to do with him. If he has some time, he will pick you apart, but he's easy to get rattled. That's some things that's one of his downfalls. Because if you get him on a run, he's gonna make good decisions. Yeah,
he has happy feet. Yeah. Today they did move the pocket a little bit, and I think that helped him, give him some confidence, like you said, extra time in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So, Eddie, do you think Carson Beck is a top 10 first-round draft pick in the NFL coming up?
No, I don't think so. I think he you can say maybe second or early third rounder, but he's not a first rounder.
Mm-hmm.
He's not consistent. The kid's not consistent.
No.
He gets too happy footed. He's not first round caliber. He doesn't give you don't game plan for him. And that's the difference. Like last year, Cam Ward, that's a kid you game plan. That's a kid that you can tell he's a difference maker. And Carson Beck, I don't see him. No, he's not. I'll have to say no.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that had something to do with him not being able to help the team be undefeated, or it's just that he just doesn't have that mojo? Would you say that?
Well, look, the FSU game showed us that we gave him the confidence in that game, right? That was the game that we first did some explosive plays.
Mm-hmm.
We came back after that. We tried to continue that trend, and we couldn't do it. And it was him. He just started throwing picks left and right.
Throwing picks, yep. Yeah.
Yeah, you still. So,
and that's the thing that I'm telling you, DC, that I had it out for him, man, because he was mainly the causing of that breaking our season when we were undefeated, when he throwing those picks like that. You can't throw 3 picks, 4 picks, and expect to win a game, because you just gave another team 4 more opportunities, 3 more opportunities to go up and down the field, and drive and score on you, even if they just get a field goal out of it.
Right.
But if that's a takeaway and they go down and capitalize off of it.
They challenged us to beat them in the air, and we couldn't. We struggled.
Yeah.
We struggled, and it was all due to him. He just, for some reason, the kid just doesn't have it. Maybe because of the first year in this system. There's a lot of factors, but
I don't buy that one, though. I don't buy that one, Eddie, because you remember Cam Ward was that was his first year in this system, too, and he ate them alive. Because Cam Ward came from another college, and he ate them alive.
He came from Washington State. Yeah, Cam Ward came in from Washington State.
Everything was asked for him and more.
Yeah, but Ward is an athlete that Beck is not. I mean, the guy can run. He can extend plays. He helps himself. Beck doesn't. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the difference. Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and get you guys predictions right now on this last game at Pittsburgh. Do you think Miami's going to go up into Pittsburgh, Isaiah, and get that handled so that they will be poised and positioned to be inserted into that playoff run?
They absolutely have no choice, man. If they want to advance in the playoff, they got to go in there, and not just go in there and win. They got to win big and make a statement, because the thing is, they're scrabbling on a fence right now. They're praying on their bended knees to get in these playoffs. If you go in there and tank, even if if you just get by with 1 point or a field goal, you might screw your chances of getting in this playoff. They got to go win massively, because they're right at the brink of not being in there. I mean, you actually got to count on other folks to lose to get you in there, because you're not in the top 12. And that's the thing that really teed me off when they dropped those couple games, because they just absolutely shouldn't have lost any game. The Miami Hurricanes should be undefeated right now. For real. They should be undefeated, going into the ending of the season undefeated. Well, and I just don't see them getting in there unless they go in there and just kick butt from start to finish in Pittsburgh.
Well, they definitely need this Pittsburgh game, and I'm going to go ahead and say that they're gonna beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. How about you, Eddie?
Absolutely. I mean, our playoffs started today, so those kids, they have to have that mentality of do or die. There's no tomorrow.
Yep.
And today we saw them with a little extra chip. So next week, no different. Come back and go for it. You know, I don't see us losing next week.
I don't either.
Now, I would love for the game to be early, just because of the weather condition. At the end of the day, these kids come from Florida, and playing in Pittsburgh at night could be a little too chilly. That could hurt us. So I would love the game to be early. They haven't announced it yet. But again, our playoffs started today, and they have to stick with that mentality, like Isaiah mentioned. It's a killer mentality. Go out there and get it. Get it done. No excuses. There's no tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's a lot riding on it for the program, I think, because if they get into this playoff and they make that run, I mean, it will only enhance their ability to be able to attract these kids, these 5-star kids coming from these high schools, and then they'd be able to go into the transfer portal and everywhere else to get the right kind of talent to come up in there, so that they can really put it all together and have that championship run. I'm just waiting to see them play in the ACC championship, because I've been waiting for that. God knows, since they left the Big East. I mean, they left the Big East. They haven't won one ACC championship yet.
I thought they was going to run a table, DC, and they got it.
We qualified 1 year under Golden, and we self-imposed when we got caught with some. I forgot what it was. They gave us some sanctions, and we self-imposed, and we didn't go to the championship game.
Yeah.
You recall that, Isaiah?
I recall it. Too.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So you're right. We need to. Yeah, we need to win. And one thing that I'm surprised this week is that we're getting so much national love against Notre Dame.
I saw that today. You know, I saw that today. They talking about it. Even Booger McFarland was saying,
guys.
Thank you.
They realized we got shafted, man.
Yeah, Booger McFarland was talking about that as well. He says if it comes down to those two teams, Miami beat Notre Dame already. So if it were to come down to that, Miami should be considered higher than Notre Dame, because Notre Dame got beat by Miami. So we are getting love around the country.
I just was appalled that the University of Miami, until we got this beautiful push nationwide, you know, we were sitting at freaking 18 once upon a time, man, with those two losses. And they gradually put us, you know, start dreaming it down to 14 and, to where we are right now. But you think about Notre Dame, they were 12, and they were 9, and they were 10. They jumped down the damn from 9 to 10, and they didn't even play that week. I was like, wow, how do they do this? Well, they've been wearing out, and they lost their games early, but it ain't nowhere in the world they should be that far ahead of us when we beat them. It's just, I don't understand how they was doing this stuff.
Well, they've been winning handily for the last month.
Early and losing late. Yeah, it goes.
They've
back to
been
losing early and
winning
losing
in a
late.
dominating fashion since they a couple weeks ago. I mean, they started on that run and they beat was it Syracuse today? Was it Syracuse that they beat 70-0 or 70? It was a crazy number.
Wow, I didn't know that, but still.
Yeah, they scored. They scored. I think
We might
25
need
in the
them
first
again.
quarter.
They blew Syracuse up, and that leads me to say this a little bit on an off topic that Fran Brown got to turn that program around. Otherwise, he ain't gonna be taking too many showers because there was rumors saying that after a loss he don't take no shower, and we talked about that me and Isaiah last year.
Yeah, man.
And Isaiah said the dog need to bite him around his ankle if he ain't taking no shower when he get home.
That's wrong.
Listen, they have gotten embarrassed, and they beat Clemson at the earliest part of the year. And for them to take a shellacking today that they took from Notre Dame, I don't know. That don't look good. It doesn't look good at all for Syracuse. So they got a lot of soul searching to do with that program. We'll shift over. It looks like Colorado right now is playing a fairly close game against Arizona State. I think it's 21-17, if I'm not mistaken with that. And
he was up 20-7 and driving.
Yes, Texas ended up beating Arkansas today in a fashion 52-37, which it was kind of a closer game up until maybe Texas scored 21 points in the third quarter. That's a lot of points to score on Arkansas in the third quarter. Especially when Bobby Petrino is trying to, he's lobbying to become the head coach of that team, and we'll see how that plays out. I'm convinced that they brought him in there to hire him full time, and they pushed Sam Pittman out. That's the way I see it. That's just my take on it.
Yeah.
So we'll see, because one thing he'll say going into the off season, oh, look, get me the kids in here, get the NIL up there, and then get me the kids, and I'll win. And he might be right, because he does win on the field. I mean, in his past history of being a head coach for college football, So let's shift over, gentlemen, to the NFL, and let's talk a little bit about. We talked a little bit about the Kansas City Chiefs last week, and we talked about there could be a distinct possibility that they might not make the playoffs this year. Eddie, do you think they will make the playoffs, the Chiefs?
Sure. Yeah, they'll make the playoffs. Yeah, they got the best quarterback in the league. That guy. The final push, then they'll make it. I don't.
So you think Denver? You think they will be able to overcome Denver, because it looks like Denver is in control of the AFC West right now.
Yeah, Denver's playing well, but I don't see KC not getting in.
KC is the third from the bottom. I mean, if you look, they're behind the Chargers and the Broncos. The Broncos being 9-2, the Chargers 7-4, and Kansas City is 5-5. So,
right.
if you got to think about that. I mean, if the Chiefs can't afford to lose any more games, right?
They can't lose anymore.
Correct.
They'll be sitting in there begging and pleading for somebody to help them out.
Oh, they definitely need help.
So the top teams right now, if you look at each standing in each particular, and I'm going to start with the AFC first. The Patriots are on top of the East. The Steelers are on top of the North. The Colts are on top of the AFC South, which the Colts have impressed me from start. The jump street when Daniel Jones was able to go to the Colts, and they've turned a 360 degrees with the Colts, with their ability to win the way they're winning. The Broncos are on top of the AFC West. Out of all four of those teams, which teams do you think is going to make the playoffs? Either one of you guys can answer that one for me.
Of the number one, who's going to be the number one seed is the question, or who's going to?
Yes, the number one seed. Give me the number one seed in that AFC East or AFC division, should I say?
It's a rough one.
I would say the Colts. I think the Colts are going to be right there, and they're going to be ready to do it, because They have been convinced. They have convinced me since the very beginning of the season, just like I said, and they don't seem like they're playing around, right?
I'm going to go with Denver.
Okay.
I think Denver will be the number 1 seed.
You think Denver will be the number 1 seed? Okay. How about you, Isaah?
I think Denver also.
So where does the Steelers stand in between all of this? Because I think Aaron Rodgers, he has some type of injury, correct? They're not even sure whether he might play this week, tomorrow.
That remains to be seen, DC. That's the question that they hadn't answered yet. I want him to play, man. It's just, to me, Aaron Rodgers is pretty exciting to watch, man. He's got this old school way of doing things, and he's got a little charisma to him, and I love to see him play. I love to see him being successful, man. So I surely hope he play tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way. I think Rodgers has done really well with the Steelers, and they have some hope with him being there like that, because without him, I mean, when they had Justin Fields, and even before Justin Fields, they were struggling ever since Ben Roethlisberger left up out of there, technically. So where do we stand with Shedeur Sanders? Shedeur Sanders is going to get his first start tomorrow, I believe.
He better shine.
He's got to show up and show out. I'm talking to Shedeur Sanders personally right now. You need to show up and show out tomorrow. Show the world that you've been sitting on that bench because they put you there because they wanted you there. You need to prove them wrong, as far as I'm concerned with that. Right?
Yeah, man. If this opportunity is not...
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Yeah.
It is. And if he don't go out there and shine, he may not ever get this again, because the protocol for the, what's that other quarterback name?
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel will be back. His protocol will be up. And if they don't stick him right back in there, Shedeur don't shine, man. So he better make it known that, man, I was sitting on this bench for nothing.
Right.
They had about 10 quarterbacks, and he was the last one. So this is the opportunity. And it's amazing how he was so far down the totem pole, and here it is, he's getting ready to start. And he was slowly but surely eliminating all of these doggone quarterbacks. And the only one that's still in place, really, is Deshaun Watson, man, who never got a chance to play.
You just mentioned a name that I had forgotten. I forgot about him. I didn't even know he played for Cleveland anymore. They haven't brought his name up at all. None.
No, but guess what, DC? He's still getting paid.
Oh, well. You can't blame me for that, right? You gonna get that money, right?
That guaranteed $100 million.
Well, that was kind of an outlier where Jimmy Haslam signed him to a $200 million guaranteed contract. It pissed Jerry Jones off. I mean, Jerry Jones didn't like it because Jerry Jones don't want to be placed in a position where he has to offer money like that to somebody, right?
And he proved he didn't like it, man. He was outspoken about that.
Yeah.
Here he's speaking about somebody else's way of doing things. But he knew some other guys was going to be coming right behind and wanting guaranteed money.
Right.
Yeah.
So it looks like Emmitt Smith it looks like he's headed back to Dallas to be a coach in Dallas. You think that's a good move on Jerry's part?
Cowboys?
The Cowboys. At least I read it today.
The running backs?
I'm not 100% sure what he's going to be doing. I'll type it in right now and see. I'm assuming that it would be a running back coaching position, I would think.
Update, guys. Cincinnati just scored and it's 13-20 with 4 minutes left.
With BYU?
Versus BYU, correct.
Yeah, because we need BYU to lose this one so we can move up, just like you said, Eddie, for sure.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it adds another two loss.
Them two, because they only lost one.
Yeah,
I think they'll be out of it, though. They lose it too late in the season, Eddie. When you lose late in the season like that, you really don't have an argument.
Well, Miami is currently sitting at number 14 right now, and I think they're going to move up tomorrow. I really do. I don't know how many slots they will move up, but I do believe Utah ended up winning today too, and they're at 13. They ended up winning. They beat Kansas State, so we'll see how that plays out with Miami's ranking tomorrow. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. With how they're going to put it together. But let's talk a little bit about the NFC, and then we'll kind of wind everything down with the show for the NFC with the NFL standings. So it looks like the Eagles are up at the top of the NFC East. The Bears are up top of the NFC North. And the Buccaneers, they play tomorrow. I believe they come out here to play Los Angeles tomorrow, the Rams.
Yeah, the Buccaneers are impressive, man.
That's a big game.
I'm really impressed.
That's a huge game. That's a huge game.
Yeah.
That's a big game for the Bucs.
I went to the Niners Bucs game about 6 weeks ago here in Tampa. Mm-hmm. We lost Fred Warner. And Tampa was impressive. They're fast. They're good disciplined team. I think those two right there are the top two teams. Well, top four teams in the NFC.
I would say so.
NFC, yeah.
Granted that the Lions and the Packers still have some life to them, but if you look at Seattle, has impressed me as well. They're 7-3 right now, the Seattle Seahawks. And the last few games I've seen them play, they've been pretty impressive. I mean, with Sam Darnold as their quarterback. And Sam Darnold's been all over the league. I mean, he's played at the 49ers. He's played for quite a few teams. Minnesota, I believe.
He went to Minnesota for 1 year, and then he parlayed that into a big contract with Seattle.
Which makes sense. I mean, because he's earned it. So, Eddie, tell us a little bit about your history with the 49ers, and how long have you followed that team, and, the transgressions that you've experienced with that team?
Well, the love affair came with, I have an uncle that lives in the Bay Area, and my grandfather would spend half the time with my uncle and with us. So that's how I came to fall in love with my Niners.
Okay.
And I've been following them since the mid to early 80s, and huge fan. I travel every year. We have a good fan club down here. It's called the 9-5 49ers. We get together in Davie for every Sunday game, and we travel. We just came back from New York. We went to Tampa. We're going to go out to Indianapolis, and we're always around. And if you actually go to Niners.com and the Invasion in New York, that's our tailgate. So we're all over there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And last year when we came down and played Miami, we had Niners TV there as well. All the big influencers of the 49ers was with us. And we had about 2,500 people at our tailgate. It was nice. It was nice, being a Niner fan, and we travel well. We're called the faithful for some reason. And I think, DC, you get a little taste of that every year. Oh,
no doubt about it. When the 49ers come to town, it's their fan base is huge. I mean, they come from San Francisco. It's a 30-minute flight from here to San Francisco anyway, so people do fly down, and they stay in the hotels, and they be at SoFi. I mean, it's more burgundy at SoFi than a lot of times, especially if they play the Chargers. I mean, because the Chargers, their fan base is okay here in Los Angeles, but it's not as big as the 49ers fan base by any means, and they travel well. Just like you said, they travel really well. So here's another question for you. Who is your favorite player of all time with the San Francisco 49ers, even when Bill Walsh and all of them was there?
I can't say one. It has to be two.
Okay, so give us two.
Joe Montana and Mr. Ronnie Lott.
Mr. Ronnie Lott. Two quarterbacks, technically, because Ronnie Lott was a quarterback of the defense as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but that's a good pick, Eddie, because I was just getting ready to ask you. You got to pick one on both sides of the ball,
That's true.
You did.
That's true.
Yeah. Ronnie Lott was just, I mean, how can you not love that guy?
He played with a finger. I mean, they
he
chopped part of his
player.
finger off during a game. Told him to go ahead and cut the tip of it off.
He was the perfect player.
Yes.
Ronnie Lott to me is the perfect football player.
He was the throwback perfect player for NFL football. Yes.
Yeah.
He had the IQ. He had the athletic ability, strong, disciplined.
And he was not a crap talker either. He would just go out there and knock your head off.
Correct.
He wasn't a guy who talked a lot of crap, man, but he would knock your head off, man.
Yeah, he didn't play around. He used to bring it.
He didn't care how big those fullbacks was. He was coming in there, man. You know?
And he started off as a cornerback, not a safety.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. You know, him and Jeff Fuller and them guys used to be running it back there, man, back in that 49ers secondary back in the day. Did you watch that game when they played the Miami Dolphins in the Super Bowl right in their backyard?
I mean, I've watched the game, but I was too young back then for that one.
Right.
But
right.
I've watched that. Yeah, that was unbelievable. And it's, you have to give credits to Bill Walsh and how he motivated the team. How he always stressed how you guys cannot handle them. You know, Dan Marino is the best. I really doubt that you guys can stop him. He challenged his own players, and they stepped up, and they just pitched the perfect game that day.
They did. And it looks like Miami's running game, Tony Nathan and them, all them guys, they were scared to run. They act like they were scared to run the ball that day, you know? Because, I mean, Ronnie Lott and all that 49ers defense, they were just all over everything that day, you know?
That Super Bowl in the 1989 against Denver, I'm not going to count the 94 because San Diego was just, they were overmatched. But the 89 against Denver and 84 against the Dolphins were a perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
A perfect game for the Niners. You can play that 100 times and they'll win it 100 times.
That's right. So let's shift over a little bit and talk about most valuable player for the NFL. Who do you think deserves to be the most valuable player? I know some names have been mentioned. You know, you have Drake. What's his last name for the Patriots? Drake May. Drake May has been mentioned. We just had a commenter says Anasamas 3194 says Bo Nix for most valuable player. You think Bo Nix deserves to be most valuable player in the NFL this year?
I think it's too early.
Yeah,
I think it's too early. Bo Nix. Yeah, I don't see a clear-cut favorite yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't think it's fair to say one clear-cut favorite.
So let's shift back over to college. Who's the favorite for Heisman?
I'm going to be a homer and say Malachi Tony because that kid's special.
He is special.
That kid's special.
He's so electrifying, man. And
if you take him out of the University of Miami, we're a 500 club. That's how special he is.
You really got to account for him being on that field, Eddie, in DC.
Oh, for sure.
Wherever he is, he's a threat. I mean, he just does everything well, man. If they put him in that wildcat position, you don't know whether he's going to take off, run, or pass it.
That's right.
He's got an arm on him, man. So
that is so true.
That's really a good honor for him, and he's a freshman too. But he's just so talented, and he's a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
To each team that they play, man. You really got to strategize the whole entire week on this guy when you get ready to play the University of Miami because he's all over the place, man. He runs the beautiful pass routes. He's not afraid to catch it in coverage either. Yeah.
Yeah, the way he covered the punts just today. He had a full attention. And he didn't even catch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even catch the ball. And I was like, wow. You know, those are things, those are the little things that don't show up. Those are not stats, but those are difference maker.
True.
Yeah.
Huge difference maker.
That's true.
You know who he remind me of, guys? CJ Spiller, who played for Clemson. He's that type of threat.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing it at a young age, because you're talking about Spiller already a junior, a sophomore, a bigger
But Tony
guy.
is doing it as a
Spiller
freshman.
was a senior.
Yeah.
He was 17 years old until 5 or 6 weeks ago. He was 17 years old.
Yeah, that's just phenomenal what Malachi Tony has done. Along with several other, I mean, you know, you look at Daniels. Daniels is really effective as well. I mean, he's solid as a rock, but Malachi Tony sticks out from the rest. So let me throw a few names out here to you guys. Love for Notre Dame.
He's good, but DC, he's not doing what he did last year. He's not putting the type of numbers up like he had last year. You know, I love him to death, man. I'm a really big, huge fan of him, but he's not putting those type of numbers up like he did last year.
Yeah, he's not consistent.
So looking at Jeremiah Love's numbers right now, he has 177 carries for 1,135 yards, 14 TDs, average 6 yards a carry generally. That's not Heisman numbers to you guys?
Those are good numbers, but I don't know whether he Heisman numbers, DC. Sometimes they don't go by those, but they're winning collectively. He's
True.
not game breaking like he was last year, because last year it could be like 3rd and 7, and they would run him, and he would wind up busting an 80-yard run. I hadn't seen him do too many of those this year. He's not like a game breaker like he was doing last year. He would you had to freaking have a rover to follow him around. The linebacker actually always followed him around because, you know, he would get the ball and he'll take it to the house on you. So I haven't seen him do that this year. Just listening to those stats now, they're good stats now. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the bust 1,000 yards and what is it, 10 games? That means he's averaging over 100 yards a game still. And 14 touchdowns, that means he's knocking down a couple touchdowns a game at least.
Right.
But according to how he ran last year, he just was out. He was getting a lot of publicity last year. His name was always on, you know, everybody was talking about him. So I haven't heard his name get called unless you look at their highlights, the Notre Dame highlights. Otherwise, you don't hear people talking about him as much.
Right.
He had 2 losses this year in comparison to last year. That team was in the hunt for the national championship the entire year. So
yeah,
that also that helped.
So a name that's popped up lately for Heisman contention has been Marcel Reed, the quarterback out of Texas A&M, and I believe they play Texas in the next week, right? That's kind of like that's a huge rivalry, and Texas A&M is undefeated, and Reed has had a really solid year this year. So it looks like the top quarterbacks for that would be Fernando Mendoza, Julian Sand, Marcel Reed, and maybe Jeremiah Love. Right?
That might be the candidates ultimately, yeah. But if you think about who's probably going to take it, is maybe that quarterback from Texas A&M.
Marcel Reed.
Especially if they remain undefeated.
Mendoza had it, but he lost it a couple of weeks ago.
How did Mendoza lose it, Eddie?
I don't recall the game.
Did he throw some picks?
He threw a couple of picks, correct, late in the game, and it cost him. So that's it. You can eliminate that.
So it looks like Marcel Reed's current stats for this year is he threw for 2,632 yards, 22 TDs, 8 interceptions, but he's got a 79 QBR, which is very impressive to me. So we'll see how far that goes. Like I said before, Texas A&M is still undefeated, so they're gonna be something to be contended with in that SEC West as well. I think it's a lot of teams just contending, but they're 7-0 at home and they're 11-0. And when your team is undefeated like that and you're playing well, extremely well, and you haven't really kind of regressed with any games, I think you have a very good chance of being a front runner for it, at least, I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a program that quietly they've gone undefeated. You don't hear much about them, and they're having a great year.
Yeah. And well, they supposed to lost that one last week. That one against South Carolina being down 30-3 at half, but that's a whole nother subject to talk about, right?
Yeah, correct. And that's relatively a new coach as well in Texas A&M.
Yeah. Mike Elko.
Yeah.
He's signing a new contract as well. He's negotiating a brand new contract. So
BYU just went in with 50.
Yeah, it looks like it's 26-14 right now, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's it.
Maybe they'll pull something.
Well, I have to agree with Isaiah. I think BYU is they'll be in. They're going to get in, but we'll see how they fare against some of the, teams that are solid and they don't make mistakes, just like BYU don't make mistakes, and they have athletes that can go head to head with them. We'll see what happens with that. We'll definitely see what happens with that, right? So we'll wind this.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we're getting ready to wind the show down. You guys have anything to, close us out with, to discuss before we close this show out? Because we've had a good show so far.
Yeah, the hottest topic of Brandon Ayuk losing.
Oh, Brandon Ayuk! I was reading a little bit about his contract today. Right, there's something going on with his contract.
That was a head scratcher. Yeah, he hasn't showed up for team meetings, so therefore the Niners can cancel the back end of his contract, and his guarantee money all of a sudden doesn't become guaranteed because he hasn't complied with his contract.
Well, so he breached the contract.
So he breached the contract in a way, right?
He breached the contract, correct? Yeah, I believe it's $29 million.
Wow.
Yeah, man, I don't know what these guys.
I don't know what they be thinking about, man. I think Ayuk is he's a good wide receiver. I've seen him play, and there was rumors that he was even thinking about trying to get with Pittsburgh. I mean, he was trying to force a trade when he couldn't get the money, with the bag that he wanted, and then now you turn around and he's not coming to meetings and stuff. You still got to come to those meetings. You can't just sit out and say, well, I'm not going to show up, and then everything else is supposed to work itself out. It just doesn't work that way. If you're under contract, you need to show up to the meetings and do what you're asked to do, what you're required to do.
That's their way. That's their way of bolting out, DC. You go in there and act like a jackass, whereas you are poison or cancer to the team. So you'll be forced for them to get rid of you. Otherwise, you just spoil every apple in the bunch, man. Because one thing that any organization or these teams don't want somebody to just get away with breaking the rules. When you breaking the rules and not being held accountable, you just put in the minds of the rest of the players that you got favoritism where they could do the same thing without any consequences. So they got to get rid of you when you're doing stuff like that, man. And most of these players understand this is the way to get out of here when you're not satisfied with your position as on the team. If you want to leave and go somewhere else, you go in there and act stupid and breach the contract, and then they'll be forced to get rid of you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, because he's such a talented young man, and he was making the money. He didn't have a really horrible contract, and you're gonna throw away that kind of money. That's crazy to me.
He had a great contract, and timing's the worst. He's injured now.
That's right.
So how can you put yourself as a free agent when you're a damaged good?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I don't know what he was thinking. But it's just a very bad. It's a sad situation. It's more sad than bad.
Mm-hmm.
He's leaving all that money on the table, and again coming off an injury, and he's relatively a young kid. But again, he's damaged good now. We don't know what he's going to be after this major injury.
Yeah.
So to act out like Isaah just mentioned, the way he did it's
very, very
it's a head
unfortunate.
scratcher.
Yeah.
It's a head scratcher, yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to follow up a little bit on a topic that me and Isaah covered last week about Rick George technically leaving Colorado. Rick George was the athletic director at Colorado that hired Coach Prime. We talked about the fact that does Rick George see something that everybody else can't see right now? And what I wanted to ask you, Eddie, because one of our commenters, Mark Hill, M2F, replied that young Cubs with more money than they know what to do with takes an edge out of their game and can cause jealousy, which can cause a problem on a team like Colorado. Do you guys agree with that? It's ruining team chemistry.
Yeah.
In his opinion. Does that make sense?
It makes all the sense in the world, man. I mean, it does. It does. You got to have a bunch of humble people not to, because if you come from a battered place, and then you see these other folks are making tons of money, and you at the minimum, and you're not able to afford some of the things, and then you got these flamboyant, flashy other people around you. Mm-hmm. There's a certain degree of jealousy, and it's just human nature, and it's going to always be around. So that's just the way it is, man. Mm-hmm. You're going to have some jealous folks on there. They ain't going to be able to stand your guts, man, whether a guy is flamboyant, he's talked too much, and he's flashy. And some people who just humble, it won't bother you. If you mild-mannered and humble and just let that roll because you're content with what you got for your own self, it won't bother you. But so many people are not in that situation where they can just look at a person and don't be envious. So this is a problem. Yeah.
Isaah, but it comes down to building the program is bringing in like-minded individuals, right?
That's right. So, that's a great point, Eddie. That's a great point.
To what you just mentioned this week, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Ruben Bain, number 4, defensive end, University of Miami, he just handed out some, I don't know if it was bracelets or a necklace to his teammates. So I'm going to use a very simple phrase. You have to share the love.
You have to share the love. And yeah.
You got to share the love. And as a leader, that is your job. As a leader in the team, that is your job, to share the love and make everyone feel as a family, because you are a family at the end of the day. You know, you're going to battle every weekend. You're going to battle every weekend, and you're helping yourself, each other, become a better player on game day. Mm-hmm. So when you're on the bench or on the sideline, and that starter makes a play, there should be also a sense of pride because you helped that player make that play.
That's right.
In the week, so that's where it becomes you have to recruit and establish a culture with like-minded individuals. So in Colorado, you have a coach like Coach Prime. I think he spreads the word of family. We all know that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's you have to create that unity, and I think he has it. You know, and Coach Prime has it out there in Colorado. And this guy who left, the AD,
Rick George,
like you mentioned, Rick George. You know, maybe he doesn't feel that he belongs in that culture, and it's for better of the program.
It could be. You know, to continue on with Mark Hill, M2F, he was saying that it could cause the players not to perform if given monetary incentives to be lame. Don't care for gambling. My thoughts, put all the money in a pot, pull monthly checks, release upon graduation. This is just his assessment of how it should look. I mean, technically, for how they should pay him, I'm assuming. I know that's too simplistic, but I hate what I'm seeing. This wide open stuff, them is killing the team chemistry. Now, he did say also the slide continues in Colorado. Defense doesn't improve. Coach Prime must clean house. Foe or friends. hate to say this, but right now the devil is entrenched. Hang tough, coach. Do not give up. Do not flinch. But a culling may be in order. Means that maybe he does need to make changes on the coaching staff. Do you guys think there might be a possibility he need to make changes on the coaching staff?
He's been flopping coaches out of the DC ever since he got the job there, man.
Yeah.
He's been getting rid of people, man, and bringing new talented coaches in.
So
there.
how long can you get rid of people before it turns on you, right? Yeah.
You got to stare in that mirror, man, because if you already done got rid of an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, you change these guys, then you bring in position coach with Warren Sapp and Marshall Faulk. What else can you do? You got to go stare in the mirror yourself, because when it's all said and done, you're the head man and you're losing. The buck stopped with you. And then when you keep changing people, you're the one that's not stable. Even though you're the one got the stable job, you're
for
not
now.
stable.
Yeah.
You're mismanaging something some kind of way. Yeah.
And you can't expect the kids to react to that as well. You know, if you come in for a coach and he's gone every year you have a new coach, there's your motivation right there.
Yep.
You know?
It looks like Arizona State has pulled away from them too, 35-17 right now in the fourth quarter. So you can chalk up another loss for Colorado tonight. So one last question.
A lot.
Yeah. One last question.
Going back to what I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Going back to what you mentioned about Pittsburgh, the Steelers. That's a franchise. They have an established culture. And that's what they're always going to be in the winnings.
Yep. And
that's a good point.
They support their coach. They support him wholeheartedly. Even throughout when the fans wanted them to can him, they wouldn't do it. They would not do it, man. And I admire that organization for doing that.
I do too. The Rooney family. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Art Rooney. Done a phenomenal job with that team. Mike Tomlin's been there roughly running up on 20 years now. So it definitely makes a difference.
He's been there longer than any other head coach in the NFL.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Coach Prime just has to come back next year, and he has to really kind of hit it hard in that portal and recruit really hard and get the right kind of talent up in there, because, like you guys said, that if it keeps getting worse, and now Rick George is gone, so they bring in a new athletic director. Trust me, there is no loyalty. That new director is going to come in with no loyalty to Coach Prime. I do know that.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. So we'll wrap this show up, and we thank our friend and our expert, Eddie, for joining us tonight. Man, it's been a great night.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
Eddie,
you so much for joining us tonight. And we want you to come back on here, and we definitely want you to come back on here and join us throughout the rest of the season to cover this Miami team. We're praying for them to be into that 12-team rotation so that they can get in that playoff and try to win that playoff to get to the national championship. So I'll close it out with Isaiah, and we'll move from there.
Yes, thanks everybody so much for patronizing this show. It was beautiful. We got Eddie on here. He's been a longtime friend of mine. I used to always go inside, talk to his parents and him when he didn't have any whiskers right here. But I'm gonna tell you something.
See, it's done got gray, huh?
Eddie used to jug at me, DC, because Eddie was a Cane all the way, but he hated the Dolphins.
Well, he's just like Najee, though. I mean, Najee doesn't care for the Dolphins either.
Yeah,
right?
But Eddie used to always shake his head at me. He's like, "Oh man, I'm telling you, the Dolphins, depending on these Dolphins to go anywhere, they're not going anywhere." And then he started bringing up the last time y'all won. When the last time y'all did, when Marino was there. So, yeah, he always had a comeback. But yeah, man, I'm so glad you got on with us, Eddie.
Yeah,
man.
me too.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Man.
I really enjoyed it. You guys are amazing.
A bunch of mutual friends.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to the next time, and we definitely need to plan out next year and bring you guys on board with our tailgating.
Yes.
And DC, You're always welcome out here. Any game you wish to come,
Thank you.
You'll be our guest.
I would definitely take you up on that for sure. I'm gonna be looking forward to that starting next spring, and come down there and hang out with you guys. And we'll do a live show from down there. All three of us, and Najee's involved in it too. So
yeah,
we're looking forward to that.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, Eddie. Thank you for joining us. And we thank our viewers for joining us, because you are considered family. Once you join us and you interact with us, Freebird Tony, he's our family. And we really admire him, and we thank him for joining us over a week ago to go over his top 10 list. Just hit that subscription button, folks, and follow us on all of the social media platforms. You can listen to our audio only shows now on SoundCloud at DC Stewart Show Podcast on SoundCloud. So you listen to our show, you're on your way to work in the morning. Let's just say you start at 6 in the morning. You kick our show on for your ride, whether it's under an hour, it could be an hour, whatever the case may be. You can listen to that audio show. It's really kicking some butt. So hit us up over at SoundCloud. Visit us over at Instagram and Facebook, because our Facebook page is really growing right now. So join us over there, and of course YouTube, and we'll do these shows again. We'll have a wrap-up show on Monday morning. We're doing a live stream on Monday morning as a show wrap to cover all of the weekend sports from this weekend. So take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, make sure you take care of your mental health, your physical health. And if somebody needs help, help them. They might not ask you. Some people are too proud to ask. But if you see someone in need or something, or a dire need of something, reach out and help them. It'll come back to you twofold. Thank you for joining the DC Stewart Show Podcast, along with my kinfolk Isaiah and our special guest Eddie. We'll do it again soon. Take it easy. Peace, love, and prosperity. Take it easy.